Evansville's former First Lady, she's also a former 14 reporter and now an employee of the Evansville-Vandenberg School Corporation. Patricia Weinzapfel has written a new book. It's entitled No More Mumbo Jumbo, Bridging the Communication Gap Between Educators and Families. Folks, it's a pleasure to welcome Patricia Weinzapfel to Midday. Patty, it's always good to see you. Years ago, did you ever think you'd write a book?
No, I really didn't think I would write a book.
Just came out. Now, this took a while. What or who inspired the book?
Well, when I first started working at EVSC, I didn't understand a word any of these educators were saying. I mean, I would Google acronyms under the table and go back and ask what happened in that meeting. Then I started to get out and go to conferences, and invariably once during every session, people would say, why do we use the words we use with families?
Yeah.
Why do we use the jargon? Why do we use the acronyms? And after the fourth or fifth time, I thought, I don't know anything about education, and still really don't. But what I do know is broadcast journalism. And
sure.
As you know, the skill of a broadcast journalist is to take very complicated ideas and subjects and boil them down into ways that are clear, concise, understandable, and ways that resonate. So at one of the conferences, I started writing.
And it took like, and this is why it's going to be a good book, or it is a good book. It took about 6 years to put this
It really
thing.
did.
Now, what did you? They say writing a book is something. Did you learn? What did you learn about yourself? Did you surprise yourself?
Well, I did. I mean, it is true what they say about writer's doubt. I mean, there were times when I would sit there and write and go, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? But to say that I felt compelled to do it wouldn't be an exaggeration. I couldn't not do it. So I learned that I could finish something that I started 6 years later. And I learned to trust my instincts. I mean, I felt like this was something that could contribute to the field of family engagement, and I'm finding that it does.
Now, we're going to talk about the book in depth in the next segment, but you're targeting you're targeting educators, right?
Yes, this book is for educators, but frankly, I've had 2 attorneys read it and say this is really helpful for my practice. I mean, the skills and the tips outlined in this book are really applicable to any field that has its own internal language that has to interact with the public. So you've been at the doctor's office, right?
Sure.
And half the time you're like, what'd you say? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about, right? So, you know, physicians, attorneys, financial planners, anybody, insurance. You know, I still don't know what plan I signed up for, right? I was like, just A, sounds good.
Very good. Hey, don't go away. When we come back, we'll talk more with Patty about the primary message of the book, No More Mumbo Jumbo, and again, the response. What's been the response to the book? We'll get that when we return. Stay with us.